We have some guest stars.
Lots of guest stars.
Yeah.
Look at all of them.
Some familiar faces, some not familiar faces.
We're trying to get some new young blood in this.
Young
Young being the young one.
Some young blood
I
right
can't
here
even-
on there.
Oh, you're talking about
And Russ, here, right, young blood.
Hold on, let me get my calibration right. All right.
3 fingers, baby.
Yeah.
So tonight we've got 3 different bourbons. We have no idea what we're drinking this evening.
No one does.
No, Peanut Gallery knows.
Nobody back here.
Yeah. So it ought to be interesting to see what we have.
Can't wait.
So
Usually.
And you told them that this is from your.
this is from our stash.
Okay.
So we do know that much. They all look about the same.
Number A, number B, and number C.
Number 8.
Cody Dobner starting us off.
Yeah, you used the Jordans right here. Yeah, had prior engagements tonight.
Yeah, we missed Jordinsky tonight, right?
And Marshall.
Marshall is under the weather.
And Miss
Marshall, hopefully you're alive to see this video in 2 weeks.
Miss you, babe.
We love you.
We certainly hope he's alive.
Smells of that.
Does it?
Yeah.
No, get better, Marshall. God love you.
Caramel, sweet, vanilla. I like those.
So we do a thing here called the raw dog. Well, I do that sometimes too.
Yes,
but
you
not
do.
on video.
Yes, you do.
So,
Gentlemen number 2.
do you want to explain the raw dog?
Yeah, so the raw dog
Or you could just
is
demonstrate.
a drink straight from the bottle. Because you go to the liquor store and you buy a bottle of bourbon and you get thirsty, you always have the bottle that comes in. You don't always have a Karen or a cup to put it in. So we get a nose and a taste out of the bottle and then compare it with the nose and the taste out of the Karen. Sometimes you'll see that the bottle smells and tastes better for some reason than the Karen does. It's weird.
That is weird.
Sometimes
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll think that you're really gonna like the flavor from the nose, and it just doesn't happen. That happened last week.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I hated the
Uh,
Weller when I first tried it.
Yeah.
That was 107.
it was.
Yeah. who said it was young? Who said the Weller 107
It
was?
might have been Jordan, but I don't.
Tastes a little young, and I was sitting there trying not to laugh.
It might have been Jordan. It for sure wasn't me.
Super
I can't.
sweet.
I can't pick out a young from an old.
She's
Except for
delicious.
just the look of it, I guess. Yeah. But it looks plenty aged to me, like looks wise. The antique 107.
I don't think she's very hot.
How long is that aged for? I don't know. 7 or 8 years. I bet. 6.
You know, normally I read the hell out of the bottle.
Yeah.
There's a weird on
That stuff I've just been drinking.
Yeah.
Kind of the line.
Don't take time to read.
Smooth.
Yeah.
You know, when you
It's
get a
really
bottle of Weller, you don't pay attention to the reading on the bottle.
Just get after
You're all about the liquid inside.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Nothing
Almost
like
like a post oak, like a chestnut or a swamp oak, all the same tree, but just different names.
Are you smelling anything nutty?
Yes.
You smelling anything nutty? I'm starting to get some.
I didn't until you said that, but now I do.
I got a lot of vanilla in that nose.
Vanilla would be pretty sweet, don't it?
Seems like it.
I don't think it really says on the bottle because it says it's believed to be in the 6 to 8 year range.
Okay.
That's about what I was going to guess.
Like they said at French Lick at the Spirits Place there, that after you go past 8 years, you're getting more barrel than you are bourbon flavor.
Yeah.
And also,
There you go, Larry.
we learned
Yeah.
a few facts that sitting here smelling it will burn your nose up. So to reset yourself, you smell yourself.
Tell the peanut gallery we need more of the bottle.
Smell it.
It's a little spicy. spice on it.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if there was.
What kind of spice? Cinnamon?
No,
Nutmeg?
it's just
Ginger?
it's like pepper.
Peppery. Okay.
A little hang time. That's what
But it
I
does
get
have
I get a cinnamon burn.
Cinnamon.
yeah, you kind of
Cinnamon
get food
burn,
into it.
like a hot
that's at
dam,
the end too.
like a hot dam.
Almost like a watered down hot dog.
But not like a.
Is
not
it a
like
toasted
green
cinnamon?
cinnamon.
Not like Big Red and
No.
Red Band,
Oh boy.
which is delightful.
Thank you.
I got clove that time.
Childhood memories.
I got clove in the nose and in the Bulgarian.
Tell you what, when we're done, we're gonna have pumpkin pie.
Larry went light. I'll tell you right now. Man, that does have a beautiful nose.
I'm not mad about it though. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not mad at it at all.
I'm gonna reiterate here. The Peanut Gallery does not think we've reviewed any of these.
we have not.
We have
do
not.
a-
You checked
we
the
do
list?
that
Okay.
because we told them.
Here's the list.
This line,
Pick something.
This reminds me of
That's a
something
lot
else.
of lists to go through, man.
Yeah. Well, he compiled it all on the list. There's
Yeah, I
100
know.
Oh, I know. I've
6
seen the
of them.
list.
I
I've
did.
A little
seen
bit
the
on the
list.
on the.
Hey, you have a list?
Yes.
I don't
For
have
someone
one.
who uses
Last
it,
week I
man.
had to do it yet.
I would pour them.
So how do they pick?
It's not.
How many different ones do you
It's
have
not-
altogether,
it's not real
Cody? Do you
complex.
know?
It's user friendly.
Hey, Cody, how many different ones do you have altogether as far as that we haven't tested? I mean, you've tested
I'm
103.
gonna drink it straight.
You know,
How many
we
ones do
take
you
care
have?
of bringing them in,
That
so
right
they're
here?
not all there.
Just, yeah.
Yeah, they're not all
Yeah,
here.
they don't ever miss.
They're
Yeah,
not-
those
I
are
missed
all,
it
we
too.
only have like 63 here. We only have 63.
Only
different
have
bourbons.
63.
Yeah.
Like I brought some bourbons from Iowa, from
And
Cedar Ridge.
I bet you have.
Now-
Yeah, the Cedar Ridge.
Now that doesn't
Spirit.
mean that we have, 5 bottles of one type of bourbon. That's 63 different bourbons.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty good. I got last I counted I had 6 or 33 in mine.
Awesome. Nice.
Or Sandy's bar.
For legal reasons.
Right.
I love this last call. Cook
I
cat.
think you have more than 63 here.
Dog dirt, black socks.
Really.
High spay. Little high spay in there.
Yeah. Something edited the R out of here.
It does.
That's an ice thing.
I didn't catch it the first couple times,
I can add it because I have to
but the
fix
very
that,
end.
that hay spray on there. I already fixed it. Just on the next printout.
Yeah.
I can add it.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to tasting that.
But I
that
still
ice
think
thing.
it's. I think 86.
I get a bitter finish.
On my
You know,
tongue, it's a
that
little
bitterness-
bit. My
86
tongue's
is
has a
the
little
lowest
bit of
That bitterness, I think, is kind of like a
Tannic acid, yeah.
sassafras bitterness. So that's just the
That
nose.
burn
of
at the end. is a little different.
But it's not a bad burn.
Right now, this is ranked my number 1 though.
To me, it's
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
All right.
This is the number one.
It's the best I've had so far.
I'm sure of that.
Best I've
Would
had
you-
on that.
maybe it's the char of the barrel.
Cheers to
or
that.
the oakiness that I think tastes a little strange on the finish.
Char and toast, bourbon and brandy.
I don't know. We're both used in bourbon.
I've not drank brandy very often, so I don't have any idea.
Larry, what do you think?
I don't, seemed kind of an oaky.
Yeah. Heavy on the wood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the nose.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But it's,
I said that right after you said raw.
Oh, that's it? Yes.
Man, they've had cameras out.
I'm smelling an apple barrel. Not just the apples, but the barrel that the apples are in. Really? Take a. Yeah, an apple barrel, like wooden barrel
I've got
full of apples.
made out of, but the barrel.
Feel that apple, brother. You throw it down.
Absolutely.
So it would give you an oaky.
There you go.
Right. It's always wide open. But now they can shove so much sage inside of it.
Now it smells sweeter. It's not sweet.
No, it's I
It smells sweet in the bottle, but in this it doesn't smell sweet.
I still like that, your comment about, nobody had ever had a bourbon
Yeah.
break the ice with something like this.
It's
I
like,
think- Yeah.
Yeah. Not real complex.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with Cody. It's my number one.
But it is number one.
So far, it's the best I've had
Yep.
tonight.
Oh, number B.
Guess I gotta kill this.
Oh, yeah.
You can talk about it. I'm gonna rib on
And,
this a little bit.
Matt, did you happen to see the pour?
Well, I
think
happened
it
to
was
see
good
Russell.
shots
pour
for
that.
Did you happen to see the pour that? Yeah.
Russell's pour was, I was like, wow, you know, round two's coming up in like 5 years.
I don't work.
It's first night, man.
I don't work tomorrow, and my wife's picking me up. So,
Very good, very good. God bless your wife.
well, you know,
Butterscotch.
I guess I'll watch the
Werther's.
pour next time.
Werther's original. I love a Werther.
Oh, I poured
Rocks
like that the
are
first
worth
night. I poured like that the first night. And I never,
You're a legend,
never
Larry.
outlived it.
Larry the legend.
I don't know if I can live up to you, Larry.
Tell me I'm lying.
No, you didn't. Oh, yeah, look at that. There you go. No, shoot her down.
Good. There you go.
Yes.
Does that have any effect when you shoot it?
Now make some extra notes.
You can chew it a little bit.
Yes, grandma's house.
They've got new lights. I bet you encourage that. You got your photographic expertise.
It's my number one.
It says my number one. This number one.
This finishes.
Number 8 just moved to number 2.
No, it looks really good.
That's why you
Tell
run
me
the
this one.
You
I
know,
just add tally marks to it.
Butterscotch is funny.
It's so cool to do this.
Grandma's candy kids.
really? That's interesting.
It's weird. It's different out of this though.
It carries through that too.
Yeah.
It's very smooth.
I can't agree with you, Larry.
Man.
I'm gonna say this is gonna be Toby's number 2. I'm getting that butterscotch.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
You hadn't said that, I wouldn't have smelled that, but I smelled it right away.
I enjoyed the nose a lot more on A than I did on like.
I did too.
Yes.
I did too.
Yeah, totally get butterscotch on those. Would I have got that if you guys had this?
It's some earth.
It kind of hangs around in the sun too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I got spicy up front and it's smoothed off and then finish kind of kicked back
Yeah, kind of.
up on the spice. Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, that's one of the things I like. I would get that 20 seconds after you get that kind of.
So, tell me when to stop.
Okay.
Oh no, it's totally up to you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you get
I
past
just-
the fat of,
Perfect.
if you get past the fat part of the glass,
Then
the
you're
fat
talking.
part. If you get past that apex right there, anywhere past that's called a Larry pour. You can go from just
Larry the legend, man.
you can go just a millimeter past it, or you can go to here. It's a Larry pour.
Anything over that is
Yeah.
pass out material right there.
Well, no, not past
No.
out. Just you're gonna
You
be
can do
doing
everything
real well.
perfect.
And you'll never outlive it.
And if you can't justify it this way, you go with step
That's right.
fingerboard.
3-finger board.
Yeah, because everybody's
Two
fingers are
fingers.
different.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's totally different than
Yeah.
what it was on the bottom. Totally.
It is. You can do everything perfect. We'll still make fun of you.
Well, that's good.
Oh yeah.
I would expect no less.
Nobody's safe but here.
I like that.
Much lower proof.
So,
She's a hot
this
girl.
was not a Larry pour, and I'm just
Man, I don't
kind
know
of
what I
sucking
get
on.
from those.
Number 1 still?
You still on A?
Yeah, this is still my number one.
If you pour 2 A's, it's
Track. Ring.
Oh, wow.
So how about a 9 iron?
What do you say, 9 irons?
That's a bad joke.
Pass her off, Dick.
Now he don't even remember it.
makes it so fun.
You gotta wait till the video comes out. Unless you cut it out. Did you cut it out? What? The 9 iron story?
No, it's on there.
Is it? I didn't watch it yet.
See that's a Larry board.
Yeah.
Just a smidge past.
I like it.
Just a smidge past.
Is that a
About
counted
two-
one or
2
2
ounces.
Is that what that is?
I think.
Yeah.
You would think.
Maybe I should put 2 on.
That's why I said, is that a 1 or a 2?
That's a 2.
I'm gonna, this is 1, because I think the first one and this one makes 1.
Yeah, I'll go
So,
ahead
so
and
this
put 2.
became your number one?
I think it's my number 1 also.
Because the nose is better.
So either.
I think the nose is a lot better than the palate
Yeah.
on this one.
This one? See, I don't like the nose, but I like the taste.
Really, it tastes
So different
a
on
little
everyone.
bit, bland to me over taste. I like the nose.
To me,
That's strange.
the palate, you get a hot hit and then it goes away quickly.
Very bland on the end.
Yeah, nothing on the
Yeah, yeah. Dies quick.
I got a hot nose, but I don't get. I'm not getting a lot of flavors out of the nose like I did on eggs.
You get some floral on the nose.
Are you?
A little bit. Top of the glass.
Okay.
Yeah, between the two, to sit around and just sip on, I'm going to think these are totally different now.
Right.
You're good, then we can each have a bottle. What do you think?
Your inch glass yet?
I'm thinking it's.
Better sit up.
You like eggs, don't you?
No, I mean, so far I like the nose better on
Alcohol
B.
evaporates out of it. You get this
I figured you would
big
like that.
Oh, aroma glass now.
I like those. I'm not even trying to raw dog it, but I'm not taking it out of the Larry board.
Too close to the nose.
Yeah, we'll have that down there.
I know.
It's a good thing not to look down.
One.
I agree.
Ooh, I don't know, I like 2.
Yeah.
That's really,
I love the nose of this stuff.
it's complex up front and then just takes a freaking dive off the high dive. Goes away quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of weird.
Yeah. But it's good, really good initially. Like, really.
I agree with that. This is my number 2.
I'm not getting anything out of this.
Out of the nose.
Out of the nose or the taste.
I wouldn't get much out of the nose.
Those are right there.
Yeah.
Not out of the carrot.
Not
Not out of the carrot. I started to pull some sawdust, a little bit of. I have butterscotch out of the bottle. I got some earth out of the carrot, oak.
A little bit of
sawmill come along, and then I started to pull some caramel.
a little bit of shoe polish.
No, maybe a shoe polish.
Well, because it's on
I think I'm getting the swimming pool chlorine
It could
smell.
be.
Yeah, the
You're
longer
gonna
it
drink
sits
out
in
of
my
my
bottle, the better it is.
You still think it's low proof?
I think it's lower proof than egg.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't
It's
proof-
got a
I think
hot-
86, 7.
It has a hot smell though. It burns my nose when I
Put
smell
it
it.
in 6 flat.
I don't know.
But generally, the weaker the flavor on the palate, the lower the proof, right?
Not necessarily, it could be a rye. But usually, the lower the proof, like if you had say a Matty Gladden higher proof and a Matty Gladden barrel proof is going to carry more flavor with it because it's not watered down. It's going to have more of those flavors that aren't dissolved in water. So, diluted in water. So you're going to have a stronger flavor in it versus something at an 80 proof. Like you had pretty much all the Jeffersons up there are 80 proof. If you had a Jefferson's barrel proof, it might be a game changer.
So, what would the barrel proof be? Would it? You don't know, or does it? Does
Barrel
it
proof
state
could
it?
be anywhere from
105
one,
to 30.
it's either 125 or 130. It has to be
I've had 127.
Is it stated on the bottle though what exactly what it is?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
it'll either say the proof or the
Oh
percentage
yeah, I'll look
alcohol.
for it.
Oh,
Do
okay.
they even
So it
make
says
it?
percentage alcohol multiplied by 2, that's proof.
Oh.
So it
There's
says
something right
45%
there.
It's got
alcohol.
something to the,
About 45.
But they usually
I
put
know
the even the 127 or whatever. Like I got a Logic Craig barrel proof.
Yeah.
It says 127.
Putting them on down there.
Yeah, and some of them
Okay.
don't. Some of them will just say
Really?
57.8% alcohol.
Really, I haven't seen
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we have a couple that do that.
The
Oh. Let's see. Put that one back. Put this one back. And grab number
Cleans
C.
my palate with a Pepsi Bourbon. Bridge beer.
Now, is there any significance the fact that number 3 still has the cork in it?
I'm good now. You got that?
They all had a cork in it?
Yeah, they all have. They're all right there.
Is this like
You're
the
the-
microgram where
you're
the
the
scores
uncorker.
can really add?
Yeah, normally it's Jordan. Jordan normally sits there. Yeah.
Okay.
But he's
Oh,
not here
nice.
tonight. We sorely miss him.
Mine.
Well, he adds a lot to
The
commentary.
voice.
Yes,
he
you're not
does.
wrong. You're
That's
not
a
wrong.
The voice.
Cody, I think you're far more
He is the
sophisticated
voice.
at your
For
bourbon
children's ears.
interpretation than I am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's that simple from
But
us.
it's
See what I mean?
famous,
It's not. It's real
to
fruity.
watch him and listen.
So,
You're not wrong.
I
And
mean,
he's never.
it's almost like a wine or
No.
I told him, I
Yeah.
said, he has a voice for broadcasting,
He does.
and he does.
I agree with that.
Strong, articulate, clear,
Yeah.
and he knows what to say.
And you know, he has the
We
works
practice
for
this
radio.
every week.
Yeah.
So where does that come from though? I mean, is that
The barrel.
the barrels?
So most of your
Confuse that.
No.
I told
I
him
was
that
telling
he,
you,
he
I was
does
telling
have
you.
a voice.
I was telling a joke the other day in
Most of
sign
your
language,
flavors
and
come
I
from
started off by
the
saying
oak
no
and
one's
the
ever heard
relationship
this
between
before.
the wood and the char. So
Wood and the what?
The wood and the char, how much they burn the inside of the barrel, will have
That's
a lot of
terrible.
effect on what sugars caramelizes, what sugars comes out of the wood, what stays in the
I
wood.
saw why.
You know, how much
Oh,
charcoal the bourbon's going through.
Near
That has a screen. Which one about?
Fail.
outlet for panel
Yeah.
for building.
Yeah.
And nothing
There
added.
was
Maple
braille
syrup.
down below, and the message says, "Do please do not."
Okay. What the braille said,
Yeah,
you're
see,
dead.
No,
You're
it
now
said-
dead.
It said, "Please, can you imagine how shocked they were when they felt that?"
Oh,
I can.
this is my number one.
I think that was a correct.
I just added $1. See how Roman numerals work?
Room and worlds.
That's an awesome play. One with a mark, and then one.
Yeah,
You
that's
start
not
on
wrong.
the 1, you go to 2, you go to 3.
That's all.
I normally pour my third one, Larry,
That's
for. I'm
sweet.
kind of regretting my decision.
No, we're good. Shoot that.
Good.
That's the second one?
No,
Yeah, it's
shoot
my
that
second
down.
one. Shoot that down, Larry says. I'm not even.
We
putting
saw
anything
your
on my
first
palate.
one.
Yeah, you did.
I'm gonna have a third one too.
See how
Larry's
much
my
lower
hero.
that bottle is? That's Russ's pour right there.
Yeah, there you go. That's why there's very little left.
I mean-
Hey,
I mean, I don't think it was that bad. I mean, I wouldn't like tracking it.
That's really pleasant.
Too funny.
I get a little too work corny.
I don't work tomorrow. I don't get up anytime.
Good.
Anytime. There's no set time for us to get up at.
I don't have to get
So you got sweet
at all.
Russ, have you been up to my place yet?
Yes, I sure did.
did you ever hear
This is
about
kind
that?
of
I
like
did something. Yeah.
You haven't
She
either?
said,
And you'll have to come up to mine and see. I got the man bar, the man room, and the bourbon bar. All
Well, you guys.
I've seen pictures of them.
They did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
Very
I was
fond
gonna
of
show
you.
you.
Oh, we had-
Yeah, I follow
Yeah,
you on
it's getting like
Instagram.
a wine, like a
Yeah, it looks
vinegar, like a, you know, that
I don't know if I should.
that fruity background.
You
What I
come
would say.
A little bit there.
Then the caramel come in on the second thought,
Makes her happy.
and then maple
Does it
syrup come.
Make her happy.
Be interested to see what this does.
She screwed up.
A little bit of butterscotch, could be maple syrup, butterscotch, could go either way.
Humble.
Yes. Yes.
It's, the nose is better in the bottle.
Very smooth.
You still pull a lot here, but I believe the nose is better in the raw dog.
See what I think would be interesting too is
See that one?
so
I
if you
think
came
I
back
remember
a
that
different night and
That's
put
what
this
the
in
bar
bottle one and did them in reverse order, you know,
How would you put it? Yeah.
We party in there.
Well, hey, get the cameras.
Yeah.
Let's go to Russ's house.
It looks like you're in 38th Street, Indianapolis.
The problem on this row right here is they're all empty right now.
You fill those up.
But yeah, that's good. Yeah, see, that's some
No.
So you got some red ribbons.
LED lights. It's all controlled on my phone.
Badass. Change colors.
Yeah.
Lagunitas, little something, something else. It's an idea.
It's been a work in progress. Used to be the kids' party.
Pretty good. Gotta go slow
When
on
they
it, though.
graduated, I said,
You
"Don't
guys
take
are right
kids."
now. Don't kick your ass.
You're out of here.
You're out of here. This is my room. So I put a 70-inch TV and a sound bar and a bar.
My room. Cool.
I've got a bottle of McKenna.
Gotta have one of
Bring in
those.
some-
That's interesting.
I tried it at one of the, kind of a deal like this. I thought it was amazing. We went out and paid, pretty good chunk for it. Took it home and I was just like,
Another vanilla.
I don't, and I don't know if it was that
You
deal.
got
Look, I don't
two
the
vanillas.
word.
It was interesting.
I
But
know,
I drank that
yeah,
at the
same.
end of a tasting.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, there's a little bit of oak in there. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if it's good or it's bad.
Yeah.
No, it don't matter. Jordan never puts anything down on his. On
He was
his.
blank.
Just mix it up.
He makes it up as it goes. Like
He
when it's,
talks more.
when it's his turn to talk, he talks. He does. Like literally, it says Jordan, and that's about it.
It's interesting.
Because Cody collects these, like
So
Beechwood.
tell me when to stop.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's go big.
Wrestle for.
Russell.
I think we have a new winner.
We may have a new.
That's a beautiful.
I'm trying to take the pressure off of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That's a really good
It's
looking.
just above the rim.
It's been hell living with
Yeah,
this.
well, yeah, it is.
That's a good.
Now we got a coin flip between the sage pour and the top
We'll call it the Russell board.
We'll call that, yeah. Good Friday.
We'll call it
That's a
Sage
good.
Board.
That's a
Sage
good Friday.
pour. It's a Russell Reserve.
Russell Reserve. Because he knows he's got lots of Z's in the reserve.
It's interesting because the nose of the bottle tastes exactly like the nose here, which that's
Yeah.
the first time that's happened.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never
I
had
said,
that.
not to me.
Really?
I got a better nose out of the bottle than I did out of the Karen, but it's not that the Karen's bad.
Holy cow, you heard.
Man, there's my favorite right there.
Here's to
Really?
Yep. There's my
Number 3
favorite.
was your favorite?
There's my favorite.
Is that right?
So far, it's
Why?
my least favorite.
Why was that your favorite?
That is my favorite because it's so incredibly smooth. It doesn't burn at all, but it still has good punch to it to me going down. It doesn't burn, and I'm gonna have to
She's pretty close to number 5.
pull some flavors out here.
Yeah, I had sweet and soft on my palate.
I don't even know how to.
Kevin, is she pretty close to number 5?
And I mean, you're not judging
Which
yourself
one's number
against
5?
us. 'cause
No,
it's-
Oh,
I mean,
she's
you're
pretty
not-
close.
Yeah.
Doug, she's pretty close.
Trying to be honest with you.
I'm
Earl.
telling you,
Five.
it's
Don't
this is smooth.
You can't be influenced by somebody else. So somebody says, "Man, I smell this," and they're like, "Yeah."
Right.
And
I
it's
mean,
either,
I wrote down, wouldn't buy this.
You really are.
yeah.
Like, I would be pissed if I took that home and I'd be like, damn it. This isn't family friendly.
No. I don't know
No,
why.
not at all.
Every time I get
So you
close,
haven't watched our videos.
every time I
I
get
usually
close,
watch these where
I'm hurt.
every time I get close.
I wanted to do that for 2 years. I want you guys to call me in one night at the wrap-up video, and I'll be the guest hand.
We'll be like, mystery hand.
Magic.
Kevin came up one night. He goes, "All right, guys, I gotta ask." He said, "What is this all about?" I said, "Okay, let me see your phone, Matt. Let me show you."
I told my wife, like, someday, I'll be the hand.
That's awesome.
Wow. I like that a
I
lot
tell you
more.
what, man, I
You don't like that. You don't like 3 at all?
no.
I liked it a lot more in the Glencairn than I did the raw. That's different. Very different.
I've run out of room for my nose.
Run out of room
Yeah, I'm right up the side now.
in the vertical.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
You're thorough.
Oh, he is thorough.
Yeah, you check all my weeks. It's like, what? What? You got a Jordan's.
Zero.
Blank,
Here's
blank.
Jordan's.
That's
Yep.
Yeah.
And one week we had Eddie in there, and there was parts and birds drawn on it.
That.
I'm not sure how,
I mean, it's. But seriously, but I mean, seriously, I mean, it's just not. If I paid money for
How
that,
about,
it
how about my sister's socks?
I mean, I'm not gonna throw this out.
It's just socks.
I don't mind.
I thought it was
I enjoy it.
Granny sock.
the memories, Larry.
And you know the extra guys here, it's exactly why they make different burgers.
well,
Yeah.
it's three large.
I mean,
Oh, she's gone. She just turned 58 years old 3 days ago. He's
Well, yeah.
62.
Hell, it was 1982 in college.
He's 60. He's 60 in September.
I have to say that's probably
I'm sticking with the
It's
order
hard to
of the
kinda
county.
grasp.
I mean, 1, 2, 3
I
for
can't
me.
believe I've made it.
So
I hope I still make it. I hope I make it to 60.
I don't think
my
I'm
dad
also
told me
that
I'd never
much
make it to
capable of
13
that.
all my life.
you know,
Oh, you're right.
here's the thing.
That's
man.
serious.
Not gonna
I
make
had somebody try to
what-
explain to me
What,
dad
about
told
what
me
day?
that.
What day in
find the
September?
one you like,
Do it.
What
and
day in
eat it
September?
with your food, and if you
September
like
3rd.
that, that's what you
Third.
like.
That's what my son is supposed to be born.
That's why they
What's
make all
your-
these
what's your
different
son's?
kinds of all these different kinds of
My
burgers.
dad's
Find
the
what you
fifth,
like and get after
My
it.
son's the
You
8th,
know what's
and I'm
weird,
the
too,
19th.
My dad's is
Like
the
I-
8th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
long one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. is. What a small world.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
That is
Drank the
way
first
cool.
time I thought.
Virgo, man. Virgo.
Virgo.
When's yours?
Just over.
19th.
September.
Now it's definitely on my bar all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
different
all three,
times
me,
you
my son,
taste
my
it,
dad, all
it's different.
Yes.
I think we have seasons too, right? I mean, I think we have seasons as people.
Yeah,
I think
actually,
we have seasons just
the doctor
in what we
said
like and what we don't like.
due date is.
I mean, I bought beers
Yeah,
before,
due
and I'm
date's
like, I can't
third.
wait to get home and drink
My
my beer,
dad's
and
the
then
5th. I said,
a month later, there's still
Well,
two
we
or
can
three
just-
left, and I'm like,
stretch that out a couple
Couple
days.
days. Be
I bought that.
Because I named my son after my dad. My son's middle name is my dad's first name.
How cool.
It didn't end up happening, but it was close.
Awesome.
I could get this Russell poured out.
Okay. Well,
What's up, boys?
what's everybody think?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
wanna
no
start us
one,
off?
no one brought this selection
This
tonight.
is all stuff we had.
But I mean, there's no one here at the table
Correct.
who
No,
actually,
so those two picked it.
yeah, so we don't,
We have
we
no
don't know what
idea.
it is.
nobody.
On this side of the camera, we have no idea.
Okay.
DT, why don't you start us out, man?
I'll do that. You know, I had a lot of pleasant no's on A. And, you know, I could just sit there and sniff that. Compared to B, I wasn't getting any sniffs at all. I just, you know, it was a alcohol burn. I could smell that. This one, I was getting wheat and caramel and some toast on that. Now on the palate,
That's more pleasant.
Yeah.
For sure.
it for A, it wasn't as smooth as it smelled. But I mean, I was getting a whole lot of faint flavors. I mean, I marked them down: toasty, oaky, nutty, woody, some char. I was getting some caramel and vanilla and honey and sweet molasses, but faintly. All right. On B, I didn't get anything. I did not get a thing. It wasn't horrible, but I mean, I just did not get any flavors that I could identify. Yeah, my taste palette just didn't pick up anything on B. On C, it was pleasant, kind of nutty and almond, butter, sweet. It tastes wheated, smooth. C is my number one pick. A was my number two, and B was my number three. I just couldn't taste anything on B.
So
Burger champion?
Burgoo champion here.
Yeah, yeah.
World renowned.
You know what, me
Burger
Regionally renowned.
At least country renowned. Or Louisville renowned.
As far as I can tell, yeah. Me and DT have the same ranking.
It's legit.
C was my favorite.
Okay.
A was my number 2. B was my number 3. We're going to go through here on A. Nose was pleasant. I kind of got that apple barrel, like I said. Palate, buttery. I got a little honey on the palate. My proof guess on A was 96. B, I got a little floral on the nose, corny on the palate. And I thought it fell off fast, like very fast. Proof, I just threw her down at the minimum at the 80. That was my 3rd. And C was my number 1. Again, woody, vanilla, cherry on the nose. I thought it was smooth and delightful on the palate. Proof guess is about a 90. And it reminded me of a Russell's 10. And I really like Russell's 10. And not Russ Sage, but Russell Wild
Russell
Turkey.
4.
But Russ Sage has Russell's 10 on the bottom.
There you go. So that's my deal. That's my wrap up. On to Larry Legend.
Well, on A, that was my number 2 choice. Nose, I'd had an oaky feeling. Palate was somewhat bitter, but I guessed it at 90 proof. B was my number 1 choice. Nose, I
What kind of flavors did you get out of B?
well, I sort of had a caramel
You got a caramel out of
out of the nose and kind of an ashy, pleasant palate.
it? Yeah.
But and I guessed it at 80 proof. I may be way
That's what
off.
I got.
I had it at 80. Yeah.
All 3 of us, 80.
But that was the palate quickly gone. But yet that was my number 1 choice on B.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
Number C had a sweet nose to it. That smooth palate, sort of a clover I picked up. And again, I'm not good at proof, but I guessed it at 80 proof. But it was my number 3 choice. See,
See what? Yeah.
so that's where I'm at. Awesome.
Let's hear it for Larry.
Which is also the Larry.
Larry's the man.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Larry is the man.
Larry the legend, right here.
The man of mystery of Orange County.
The penetrator. The original
The
penetrator.
original penetrator.
Yeah.
The original
Buster Brandon
penetrator.
and the penetrator.
Oh, that could be taken many ways.
And Larry has dropped Mike. He's out.
Okay, cut.
My mother never did like the name of that band.
So he was in a band named the Penetrations.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
why I
was
said
it Penetrations or
back in the
Penetrator?
60s, 70s.
Penetrations?
No, what was your main band, your longest stint though?
Well, it was the Penetrations. I was in the Tempos, the Flames,
There you go.
and the
Penetration.
Penetrations.
And we got
So I've seen that. I just forgot it was the name Penetration.
I mean, I think
This guy
I think
is a legend, right?
He is.
Penetrations is
He
much
is.
better than the Flames.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Just
You see, how old is that bearded guy right there?
Is that you?
He's 15.
every bit of it.
Oh, that's
No,
gonna
the
be
bearded
Tempos.
guy is 15.
You the singer?
Yes, that's Larry.
Playing the Gretsch? Are you playing the Gretsch
What instruments
guitar?
did you play, Larry?
Silver
What on? What on?
Silvertone.
The
Okay.
guitar, the bass, but I was the only guy that could remember all the words, so they made me the singer.
That's all it takes. Is that because everybody else was
Well, they said, you
no
don't sing
words.
very well, but you can remember the words. Sign me up.
Sign me up.
I'm just like you, except I can't remember any words, Larry. But I can play guitar. all
Do I still get to meet the girls?
I question
Yes.
why I got kicked out of my
Oh, I'm in, right?
So you thought you liked Larry before. Now you like Larry.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I love Larry now. Love.
The original penetrator.
Penetrations.
You cannot copy. You cannot copy the original. No.
Penetrator.
Your mama's so mad right now.
Love you, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. What you have, buddy?
All I've got is, first of all, who needs Jordinsky, man? We don't need Jordinsky. This is a ball.
I mean,
Jordinsky, we don't miss you at all.
because this is what his scorecard looks like.
Yeah, I know, man. Come on, Jordinsky. You got to put down some
He
stuff.
was here. I got proof.
You know he won't watch.
We love you, Jordan. We love you.
Okay, so I've got, I kind of agreed with Doug and Toby on 1, 2, 3. C was my favorite, A was my second, and B was my third. For A, I had vanilla, woody, and oaky. Super soft palate, sweet with a little bit of char, but a little bit like Cody said, a little bit of an after bitter taste on the tongue after it wore off, and it wore off pretty quick. With B, I had mild smell, better taste, better than taste. I said a little bit of flowery, mild flowery.
I got it.
Weak flavor to me on B. It died really quick. Flavor died super quick. Earthy, I put raw too. On C, I put good char, oaky, smooth, a little bit of floral, tiny, good char on the palate. Very good. A slight spice to C as well. On the palate, the proofs I had. A, I'm probably way up because I'm not good against these proofs at all.
Oh, good.
On A, I had 100.
Yeah.
B, I had 95, and C, I had 105. Those could be off 30 points.
It don't.
But anyway,
Oh,
other
they're not
notes.
off 30.
A, really good. It was a little sweet. B, good, but not my fave. And C, I love. C was my fave, man.
Well, I will say this: you're not going to be off 30.
I don't think so.
Because if you're off 30, that means either
It's not a
they
bourbon.
did not qualify as a bourbon or they're incredibly hot.
Okay.
So you're good. I think you're in the range.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. But you're good.
Loved it.
Proof
You got
is
90, 80, and 80.
the proof thing is just a bonus thing. Like it's just fun to get.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's a
I've been
guess.
something, I guess, that they say the higher proof carries more flavor. So that's not always true, though, right?
The legs. You want to look at the legs?
Brooklyn.
It's
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And that means higher proof, it has a deeper legs.
Thicker legs.
The faster they form, the higher the proof usually.
The bar is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah. So these don't form very fast. So
Doug
90.
has always the
really good.
really
Oh, it is.
He's-
Oh man, you're surrounded.
He's a solid
You're surrounded by greatness out here.
I know,
right?
I know.
Like they're just like.
Yeah. Bang,
I'm
bang.
texting Cheryl, right?
Larry and I, we have the pour thing down. But
You
that-
do.
Yeah,
You do. I'm going to applaud you. You guys do know how to pour. Larry and Russ.
These four gentlemen that joined us.
I love to be famous for something.
What do you got?
Russell, what you got, though?
You know, it's a little different for me. C was my least favorite, for sure.
That's okay. Everybody's
Um, I got on the nose, I got vanilla, but I get vanilla on everything. A little bit of clove, which I also get clove on everything. But I also got like 1982 in college on that one. So I mean, it wasn't fabulous to me.
What college was we at when you do that?
Yes. So that was my least favorite.
I was 6 years old then.
That was 4.
Demo.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Welcome to the club, All right, so
No, wait, am I 40?
oh, they're cool.
Oh, I'm 44.
listen.
You were in college in '86.
Huh?
You were in college in '86.
I was out of college in
Out of
86.
college. Okay.
That was like 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, actually, I was in college in '86 because I did the 4 years on the 5-year plan.
He flunked the first 2 years.
How about the U.S.
We
Air
liked it so well,
Force?
he
Come
didn't-
on.
That might have been true.
U.S.
I actually
Air Force.
worked. I left college debt free because I worked nights all the way through college.
Oh,
Nice.
But
I give you props for that. Yep.
Absolutely.
Air Force.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Thanks for your service.
you got to
Hey,
turn
Russ,
that around differently.
We're gonna have one more round of applause because your service in the military. Russ,
Again!
Hey,
Thank you, sir.
hey, you're a military guy.
I know, but I like applauding another. We
All
got
right.
just all around the table.
What?
Right here.
Yes, sir.
well, how about the U.S. Army?
The backpacking army. Good work.
Absolutely.
Stand by to get some.
Love it. Love it. All right, so 3. So C for me was, I don't know, what's the worst one? I didn't get a lot out of that. So I thought it was about 90, 80 to 90 proof. B, I thought was pretty good. It was interesting because when I smelled the bottle, I got butterscotch, and I did not get that anywhere else.
Yeah.
When I got in the Glencairn, didn't get it at all. So B was my number 2. And, you know, man, I was really stuck on number 1, which was A. That's my number 1. I thought it was, which I really like oaky. I like a lot of oak. And I thought 1 had a lot of oak.
Yeah.
Yep.
He likes wood.
Best comedy of the night right there.
Hey, you can.
He likes wood.
You guys can keep doing that at any time.
Hey, and don't
Absolutely.
forget, Peanut Gallery, we have an Army guy in there.
Only because he could not get in the Air Force. I'm just saying. Hey, I don't mean that a lot. I mean it a little, but I don't mean a lot. All right. Anyway. Yes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, our razzing is equal opportunity.
That's
Yeah.
We're gonna razz
I'll
and
poke your
rib.
show both ways.
We're gonna rib the hell out of
You
it.
gotta be able to take
If you
a job,
can't
right?
take it, then there's the door.
Will Smith.
No,
Which I respect everybody. Anybody that served, I respect. So,
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Cheers to anybody that served.
cheers.
appreciate it.
Thank you for your service. Anybody
Oh,
that
I need
served.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thank you to all those watching that have served.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Shannon Burgess, I see you.
Shannon.
Jake Carter, I see you. Son-in-law.
Good call, Russ. Good call.
Right.
Good
Yeah,
job.
Mike.
Okay.
Right, right,
What
right.
do you got? That's all I got.
Before
All right,
Mike-
so
Mine was
before
kind of
Mike
boring.
goes, I want to say
Yeah.
something.
What?
Before Mike goes, I want to say something. Your taste and your palate and your picks is individual. It does not matter.
For sure.
That's what's so
Yeah.
cool about this whole thing.
Don't
Like, you
don't-
might be like totally off of us, but who cares? I
well,
think
there's
that's
more
what,
than one bourbon, right, man?
Right.
That's
That's
what
what's
makes
so
bourbon so
cool
cool.
about it. Like you,
Yeah,
I could tell you had reservations because you were different than everybody else. That's what is cool about it
Yep.
to me.
Even in the same distillery, from one barrel to the next, you got 2 different bourbons.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's even, so I've tasted bourbon and then I tasted it again. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, I like it the second time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
That's what makes
the
bourbon
good
so
Lord
neat.
made us all different, right? And it's
Yeah.
so cool to hear everybody's, different noses, different palates, different, rankings. It's just so freaking cool. So don't have reservations. Like the other night, I had something. I said, "What did I say that I smelled?" And you guys were like, "Never heard that yet." The hell was that? I don't remember, but they were like,
What was
that was
amazing
the
though
first.
is that it was on the list.
It was on the list.
Granny's britches.
It's on there.
Or my sister's socks.
Yeah, it wasn't any of that. But what I'm trying to say, is, it's okay to be like 100% different than everybody else because everybody has a different.
Oh, sure.
No, you don't have to leave, Russ.
All right, Russ.
No, you
See you,
don't.
Russ.
No, don't leave, Russ. You did a good job.
Nope.
Go ahead. Sorry, Mr. Collins.
All right, so I'm going to go in reverse order. So number 3 for me was C. And I just, to shoot you straight, I just didn't enjoy C at all. I thought it had a stronger alcohol nose. Just right off the bat, I could just seem like it burnt a little more whenever I gave that a sniff. As far as the palate, not throwing stones here, but I said just not pleasant. Kind of reminds me of a septic tank. And so, I mean, I don't know where that's at. This smells like shit.
There is a little corn in there.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm going to shoot you guys straight.
Call a spade, Mike.
And so, as far as a proof guess, I just put a question mark because at other notes I put I would not buy this. Right? I mean, that's just not a bourbon that I would be pissed if I paid good money for that and went home and had it pour. I would be bummed out about that. So that was number 3. And so for me, B was my number 2. And I got butterscotch off that, and I'm not exactly 100% convinced that wasn't because Cody didn't say he got butterscotch, but there was a sweetness to B that I think was there. I felt like it was a little hotter, maybe 95 in terms of proof. But I did. Here's what I really liked about that. I really like if I'm going to have bourbon at home, I typically just have a Woodford. I really like Woodford because I like that after you take a sip of Woodford, about 20 seconds later it goes, there's that little spice explosion. And I got that off B. So it really kind of reminded me on that back end that there was a spice note to that. So I really liked that. And for me, number 1 tonight of these 3 was letter A. And I thought it just had a really good nose overall. There was a sweetness to it. There was a vanilla to it. I got some spice to it. And then as I transitioned to what I tasted, it kind of moved into a bit of an oaky, woody smell or taste, a flavor there that I thought was really good. I didn't think A was very strong. I didn't narrow that down. I put 80 to 90. I kind of thought that was the range we're talking in. And then I just put as another, I just thought it was really smooth. And I thought Matt nailed that. I mean, I don't know if Matt's going to talk about this, but if you had somebody that had never had bourbon before, to me, A would be a good bourbon to kind of say, try this.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So for me, A was 1, B was 2, and C was something I would never, ever in a million years spend my good money on.
And that's why you asked me what the hell was I thinking, right?
Right?
I would like
That was your number
That's
1.
my number 1.
2 or 3 weeks straight of bourbon.
No,
To see
100%.
if
100%.
You still felt that way.
You catch me in some for pizza, man. Just bring me a little hit of that, and we'll try it and see. Because I just really didn't like that, and I bet it's not that it's a bad bourbon. It's just me today.
Yeah, and I believe that wholeheartedly.
I do too.
That
For
you,
me,
you could try your favorite in the lineup in a week and hate it or love it more. You could try your worst in a week and fall in love with it as long as you were doing it blind, because once the reveal's done, you're going to go, well, I'll never buy that. But if you had it just pour it blindly, you could take it and be pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you might, just kind of validate
No,
your
that's what I was
predictions.
getting ready to say.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't like that.
Double oak.
No, yep.
Like Woodford Reserve Double Oak used to be my favorite of all time until I started branching out and finding all these other double oaks. And I went, after I had 4 or 5 other double oaks, I went back to Woodford and I was like, this is just not as good as it cost. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because you can get and I've turned a bunch of people onto it. Jim Beam Double Oak, $22, $17 at Sam's Club, and I think it. I think it is better than
Sometimes,
Woodford Reserve
See
Double
what the
Oak.
last price of it is. It made me want to go for it.
Oh, I fell in love with it, and I'm not a big
100%.
Jim Beam white label.
Yeah, I would.
1568, I'm sorry.
1560.
Yeah, the 8, it's just, I
I
think
gotta
it's
get us a case of that.
maybe not. It supposedly has more alcohol. The black.
That was on my first deal, I think, here.
That was me
When
trying
you did that,
to-
man, it was,
You get blown away by it.
it was killer.
Here we go.
What you got? Okay.
Dude.
So, I'll just go through them in order.
So much
So, A,
Russ,
on the nose, sweet, oaky,
I'm expensive.
palate, a lot of oak, wood, nutty, char. I'm guessing it's a 94 proof. B, on the nose, butterscotch, huge. Weaker nose on A, or weaker nose than A. I thought it was sweet on the palate. Finish was super quick. Finished. It was kind of gone.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was an 86.7. Leaves quickly, beautiful nose is what I put. C,
Like the decimal.
sweet maple, caramel. I got cigar, pipe tobacco, salt finish.
All in the nose?
Yep.
So no septic there.
Nope.
But no sauce. No
Salt
sister
finish,
sauce.
buttery, molasses, butterscotch, all on the palate.
Wow.
I'm guessing it was an 86.4.
Wow.
I think it's a wheat.
Oh.
No burn. I could sit down and drink a whole bottle of C.
Of C?
Of C, I
I'm
could.
right there with you.
of what now?
Of C, I could sit there and drink the whole bottle.
Is C your number one?
I got
You drink the whole bottle?
So I changed it throughout. I went back and forth. So,
That's why you use Roman numerals.
yeah. So I went C
Yeah.
is my number one.
We'll just straight bottles of wine.
And I tied A and B for number 2.
You like C?
You
tied
C's
them.
number one?
Yeah,
I
C number
love
one.
C.
C number one?
That's
C number
number
one?
one.
I
You
like them
tied,
both.
so you have only one number 2.
Yeah.
You don't have a number 3.
I don't have number 3.
You only have
He
a
has
2.
two twos
Two
and
twos
one
and
one.
no.
That's illegal, isn't it?
No. We
In
make up
Indiana,
the
it
rules.
is.
So
We
C,
back up the rules.
I said was very, for me, it was very user friendly.
User
User-friendly?
What is this? A computer?
This isn't a freaking
I mean-
saw.
I would recommend C.
It's an iPhone. It ain't a droid.
That means you click on it and you're drunk.
That's what I got.
User
Oh,
friendly.
big feet.
Yeah.
Siri, get me drunk. User friendly.
I mean, that's what you said, right?
Yeah, she's like, this is my command.
Hey Alexa, how do I get drunk?
That's what I came here for.
All right.
So
Here we go. Here we go.
I put a lot of notes down, guys. It's gonna take a minute.
And this is why Cody sits in the Jordansky seat, right?
So,
They're not right. They're just notes.
where's C at? Tell me
So
C.
I'm totally changing Siri right now.
No, you really need
So-
to listen to this guy.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm just gonna start with our lineup. Hey,
He's on top of it.
on the
Are we
Absolutely.
passing
nose,
these around?
caramel,
C,
sweet,
I was setting on fire.
vanilla,
again?
That
musty,
was C?
oak, and then finish with piss oak. And if you don't know what piss oak is,
I know what it is.
it's swamp. It's water chestnut oak. It's swamp oak, post oak, piss oak. It's all the same damn tree.
And this is A?
Dude, I'm telling
This is A.
Is that the number
On the
one?
palate, I didn't get piss oak on the palate. On the palate, I did get oak. There was a wang on the oak, which kind of verges
There's a
on that,
wang.
but not quite there. Pepper and salt, so it was like a double deal.
That's my favorite right here.
Look at that pour.
100.
I almost
see.
said
Let's
100. I almost said 100.
I had a bitter finish on it, so long.
What was this?
So this is A.
Okay.
So bitter finish, so like it had a lot of tannic acid. Been in the barrel 4 or 5 years.
What kind of acid?
Tannic acid.
Tannic?
Damn close.
Tannic.
Tannic.
From the wood. Yeah, it comes from the wood. That's what gives you that bitter
That's what
dry
she's-
tongue.
yeah.
Kind of like a Merlot wine gives you that dry tongue. Tannic acid, same thing.
Yeah.
So it
Okay.
is ranked my number 3.
Which one?
Which one?
A is my number 3.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are
B.
inversely proportional.
Butter. So on the nose, butterscotch, earth, oak, sawmill, and caramel.
Or
No.
That's what I got on the
B.
nose. And that's a mixture of Karen and Bourbon
Okay.
and raw dog. On the palate, I had a spicy front and back. There was a missing middle. But because I like the sweet caramels and the vanillas, I rank that as my number 2. Because of the piss soak. I'll take vanilla over piss soak any day.
Right.
So
I love this terminology. This is great. This is great.
I put it at 86 proof. It was a little
is
weaker.
piss soak
86?
even in the negative?
I concur.
95.
Vanilla over piss soak. any
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. Here, here.
I also had a slight spicy finish, and I named it, and I have it wrote down, so we'll see what the reveal is, and go from there.
Dude, gumball.
See,
C is the best.
off the raw dog, I got a completely different palate than the Glencairn. So wine, sherry cask, kind of that red wine vinaigrette type smell right up
You're
front.
right. You're shadowing.
Now the Karen, caramel, maple syrup, mild oak, earthy, and musty. So you're getting a lot of aging from the barrels. Some barrel funk with it. On the palate, sweet and soft right up front. Spicy vanilla coming in. Oak sawdust as you drink more, as you dig more into the Karen.
Yeah.
And then a tannic acid finish, so I had that little bitter lingering, but I didn't get the piss soak in it. I had it placed at 100 proof. And
On the
Yeah,
C.
brought that out.
yeah, and I put what it was. Actually, I wrote down what I think all of them was in here, and I'll show it because there's no scribbles on them. And I had it ranked as my number 1.
C.
C.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you, Cody.
Equals 1.
Because typically,
So-
if I'm going to
And Mike says he wouldn't.
It's empty.
4 ice cubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And Mike said he wouldn't piss on number C.
hey, just like in elementary school, we're gonna go
And
around
Russ said he
the
wouldn't
table.
piss on number C.
If we start off, I think it's A.
I
It's a higher
love C.
proof.
I mean,
Hey,
I can't wait to see what's
since
What
we
was
have
C?
so many, since
What
we
was
have
C?
so many people, let's just see. Let's just see this visually. If you had number A as your number 1, raise your hand. Okay.
We have 2?
If you had number B as your number 1, raise your hand. Okay.
Yeah.
And if you have number C as number 1, raise your hand.
And which bottle is empty?
C. So we got 5.
because it
It's
went
okay.
around.
It's okay. It's
It
just,
went
it's
around.
It's cool
That's
to
the only
visually
thing.
see that.
Are
So
we
here
good?
we go.
Is he getting
There's
ready?
the reveal.
This is the review.
All right, here we go.
A is
Number A.
This is A.
A is
So this
Matty
is
Glad.
Morning Glory Coffee Bourbon
C.
from French Lick. Hey,
A is Morning Glory.
that's A.
100 proof.
I hit it on the nose on the proof, buddy. Hit it on the nose.
Man, I was totally close. I said 86.
Hey.
And we tried this out of the barrel. I hated it out of the barrel, but I like it out of the bottle.
We tried on.
Yes.
Oh,
There's
Hey,
some rye in
The
that. too.
only thing that I could think that, that we haven't
Okay.
had that's
I like
in your
that.
collection was French Lick stuff.
B
B?
is. What was
Matty
this?
Gladden.
You can't get
No,
this
it's
over
not French Lick.
That was when they opened.
They don't make this anymore.
They opened it.
Damn it!
Oh, making it?
So, this one is also French Lick. This is a Lee Sinclair 90 proof. They don't make the 90 proof anymore. They don't make Lee Sinclair anymore. Actually, no, they don't make the Sinclair anymore.
They do make this flavor. It's possible.
Yeah, but it's all bottle and bond. You can't get the 90 proof anymore.
That was our fault.
Lee's been dead for 100 years. Well, it wasn't my favorite.
What'd you say, 90? Oh, it's 90 proof?
I got
Yeah.
nothing out of it.
We still have 2
I
more.
need to see what C is because I'm not.
I know what C is.
lighthearted and-
I do too.
C is Matty Gladden.
You think so?
Breakers.
You think so?
Matty.
It's a shorter bottle.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's a Jim Beam product.
Yep.
Blade and bow.
You ready? Breakers.
Oh.
So this is Breaker's Bourbon. One of our reps, Casey Weeks, I believe, got it for us from Southern Glazers.
Is it
this
weeded?
aged a minimum of 5 years. It is 90 proof.
How much?
I got 90.
How much? 90?
And it's distilled in Indiana, so hold on. It's an MGP product. and then they sent it to California, and it's blended and bottled in California. So Breakers.
I got the 90 right. And
Cheers
So
to
this
Breakers.
one was actually under, this one was 90, and that one was
I'm happy
I would
with
bet you if I put that on the rocks,
So I hit that one.
Yeah, you put-
Missed that one by 5.
I put a
Missed
little
that
water
one
in
by
Make it down.
yeah, it's better.
15, I guess.
It doesn't
But-
smell like a septic tank.
You got grandma's panties.
Yeah.
On a
Sourced it.
Grandma's panties? You said-
Oh,
We're
bullshit.
assuming MGP.
I didn't write that down.
It could be something big.
it. Here you go, teacher.
I know we were joking on that.
I don't know.
C, baby, C.
Everybody, let's give us some fingers.